A new front has opened in the trade tensions between the United States and Canada. This time, over the Alaska Highway, the vital land route connecting Alaska to the rest of the U.S. President Trump's threats of steep tariffs on Canadian products have prompted British Columbia to consider tolls on American trucks supplying Alaska. This move could disrupt a crucial supply chain, raising costs for Alaskans who already face high prices and logistical challenges. For decades, the highway symbolized cross-border cooperation. Now it's a flashpoint in a high-stakes political standoff. The proposed tolls are more than financial, they're a message. Canada won't accept what it sees as unfair U.S. trade practices. At the heart of this dispute are ordinary people, truckers, business owners, and families, caught in the crossfire of international politics. The crisis began with President Trump's renewed threat, a sweeping 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican imports. A move that sent shockwaves through North American markets and reignited old tensions. The announcement came suddenly, catching many off guard and immediately raising concerns about the future of cross-border trade. Reviving the aggressive trade war tactics from his first term, Trump's decision was seen as a bold, high-stakes gamble. The threat of tariffs quickly dominated headlines, sparking protests and heated debates among economists, politicians, and business leaders on both sides of the border. The announcement shocked Canadian leaders and businesses, who saw it as economic bullying and a direct challenge to their sovereignty. For many Canadian companies, the prospect of steep tariffs meant potential layoffs, lost contracts, and a sudden spike in costs. Prime Minister Trudeau responded forcefully, vowing to fight back and preparing retaliatory tariffs on American goods. He addressed the nation, promising to defend Canadian interests, and warning that Canada would not be intimidated by its largest trading partner. The tit-for-tat strategy is classic in trade disputes, but this time the stakes are higher. Canada's economy is deeply tied to U.S. trade. Billions of dollars in goods cross the border every day, supporting millions of jobs and entire industries on both sides. The United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, which was meant to stabilize relations and provide certainty for businesses, now looks increasingly fragile. Trump's executive orders have thrown the future of the agreement into doubt, leaving investors and policymakers scrambling for answers. For Canada, this unpredictability is a serious threat, forcing leaders to consider countermeasures once thought unthinkable. Emergency meetings are underway as officials weigh options ranging from new trade alliances to legal challenges at the World Trade Organization. The entire cross-border relationship is under strain, with both sides bracing for economic fallout. Businesses are already feeling the pinch, and economists warn that a prolonged dispute could trigger a recession in both countries. As negotiations stall and tensions mount, the question now is clear: who will blink first, and what will it cost both nations in the end? In response, British Columbia's Premier David Eby announced plans to impose tolls on American trucks using the Alaska Highway, a direct hit to Alaska's supply chain. The move is calculated. Alaska relies on this route for essential goods, and BC can exert pressure without harming its own consumers. The toll would be easy to implement at existing way stations and border points, turning geography into leverage. Eby also ordered government agencies to stop buying American products and banned liquor store sales from Republican-led states, including Alaska. These actions form a multi-pronged strategy to make the cost of U.S. tariffs painfully clear. Alaska State Senator Robert Myers, himself a trucker, admits the toll would be a big deal for his state's economy. The message: Canada is ready to fight back, using every tool at its disposal. British Columbia isn't alone. Provinces across Canada are uniting in rare solidarity against U.S. trade threats. This moment marks a significant shift in Canadian politics, as leaders from coast to coast are putting aside their differences to present a common front. The sense of urgency is palpable, with premiers and officials working overtime to coordinate their responses and send a clear message to Washington. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford announced a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S., targeting northern states' power grids. This bold move is designed to hit American consumers where it hurts, leveraging Ontario's crucial role in cross-border energy supply. Ford emphasized that Ontario will not stand by while Canadian industries are threatened, and he's urging other provinces to take similarly decisive action. Yukon's Premier Ranj Pillai halted liquor store purchases from American companies and restricted U.S. businesses from government contracts, emphasizing this is about defending Canadian sovereignty. Pillai's measures, though smaller in scale, send a powerful symbolic message. Every province, no matter its size, is prepared to act. Yukon's government is also reviewing other contracts to ensure local businesses are prioritized over American firms. These local measures, tailored to each province's strengths, create a patchwork of economic pain points for the U.S. From energy to procurement, each region is finding ways to leverage its unique assets. The result is a coordinated, multi-pronged approach that makes it difficult for the U.S. to retaliate without facing consequences in multiple sectors. The United Front, from left-leaning BC to conservative Ontario, shows Canada won't be easily divided or intimidated. Political differences are being set aside in favor of national interest, and the public is rallying behind their leaders. This rare show of unity is strengthening Canada's negotiating position and boosting morale across the country. This decentralized resistance complicates Washington's strategy as it now faces a coalition of determined provincial governments. Instead of dealing with a single federal response, U.S. officials must now navigate a landscape of diverse, coordinated provincial actions, each with its own set of consequences and challenges. The message to the U.S.: any attempt to single out Canadian industries will be met with a broad, unified response. Canadians from all walks of life are making it clear that they will not be bullied, and that any economic aggression will be met with swift, collective action. Canada is fully mobilized for a prolonged economic conflict, with provinces and the federal government working hand in hand. As the situation evolves, Canadians are preparing for a long-term standoff, confident that their unity and resolve will see them through whatever challenges lie ahead. For Alaskans, tolls on the Alaska Highway threaten more than politics. They hit daily life and wallets. The state's unique geography means trucks deliver crucial, time-sensitive goods like fresh produce and vital oil industry parts. The Alaska Trucking Association warns tolls will raise transportation costs, disrupt supply chains, and drive up prices for essentials. In a state with a short growing season, reliable truck deliveries are a necessity, not a luxury. The oil and gas sector, reliant on just-in-time shipments, faces costly delays if tolls slow the flow of equipment. Even tourism could suffer. If BC extends measures to cruise ships, Alaska's summer season, and the businesses that depend on it, could be devastated. The threat is real, immediate, and deeply personal for Alaskans. The highway, once a symbol of connection, now represents vulnerability. The dispute has sparked strong and passionate reactions on both sides of the border, with emotions running high as the situation unfolds. What began as a policy disagreement has quickly escalated into a matter of national pride and personal livelihoods, drawing in not just politicians, but everyday people whose lives are now directly affected. BC Premier David Eby and Yukon's Ranj Pillai have stepped into the spotlight, framing their actions as necessary defenses of Canadian interests, not as attacks on their Alaskan neighbors. They emphasize that their decisions are about protecting local jobs, resources, and communities, insisting that cooperation is still possible if mutual respect is shown. In Alaska, Governor Mike Dunleavy urges calm and hopes for a federal resolution, balancing support for the president with concern for his state. He acknowledges the frustration felt by Alaskans and calls for dialogue, stressing that the well-being of border communities must come before political point scoring. Ordinary Canadians express pride in their government's tough stance, seeing it as a stand for sovereignty and fairness. Meanwhile, Alaskans worry about rising costs, supply shortages, and the feeling of being caught in a political crossfire that threatens their way of life. Truckers, who are the lifeblood of cross-border trade, face the brunt of the new restrictions. With higher costs, more paperwork, and longer wait times, their daily routines have become far more stressful. "We're just trying to do our job," one says, "but we're the ones who'll pay the price if this continues much longer." The human cost is clear. Political decisions made far away have immediate, real-world effects on people's lives. Families worry about their futures, small businesses struggle to adapt, and communities on both sides of the border feel the strain of uncertainty. The border, once a line of friendship and cooperation, now feels like a fault line dividing neighbors. Tensions are visible, and the sense of unease is growing as each day passes without resolution. Both sides hope for de-escalation and a return to normalcy, but anxiety runs high. As leaders negotiate and citizens wait, everyone is left wondering when, or if, the border will once again become a symbol of unity rather than division. As tensions rise, the path forward is increasingly uncertain. If Trump's tariffs take effect, BC and other provinces are poised to retaliate, risking a costly trade war with Alaskans caught in the middle of the conflict. The best hope is diplomacy. Negotiators in Washington and Ottawa must find common ground before the situation spirals out of control. A solution will require compromise and recognition of the deep economic ties between the two neighboring countries. The crisis has tested the Canada-US relationship, revealing both its fragility and its enduring resilience. Ultimately, the friendship between Canadians and Americans runs deeper than any single dispute or disagreement. Only a peaceful, negotiated solution will truly honor that legacy and secure a stable future for both nations.